In this video, I'll be talking with Joey Erway, and he'll be sharing his very simple and very, very effective power offer framework. My name is Kyle Sullerud. I'm the founder of AdLeg, a marketing agency that specializes in running YouTube ads to high-ticket offers. Today, I'm bringing on Joey Erway, founder of the webinar agency and author of the book, High Ticket Courses. I recently learned something from Joel that he calls the power offer, and I started applying it in my own business right away. It's literally so straightforward that it only took me a few minutes to start using this framework. And it has been so effective that I wanted to share it with you. But rather than share it myself, I sat down with Joel so he could share it with you directly. Here is my talk with Joey Erway about the power offer. Joel, welcome to the show.
Hey man, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited.
So glad you came on because I heard about your power offer, right? And started using it myself. I started testing it, and it has been such a game changer for me and my marketing. So I wanted to bring you on because I wanted to share this with my audience, but I don't want to just try to share what I've learned. I wanted to go to the source. So let's back up a little. Just briefly tell me how this came about. How did you figure out this power offer, and why do you think it works so well?
It's funny. That old saying that they say, if you're trying to sell something, figure out what your ideal client is dreaming about, like what's causing them to lay awake in bed at night. And this is literally what happened to me. How I discovered this: I was laying awake in bed because I was stressing out, not having consistent lead flow and not having consistent clients. And so I was laying awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I picked up this book from Bob Bly, How to Create an Irresistible Offer. And it was like page 2 or 3. Bob put this chart in the book that forever changed the game of how I market. And he said, Bob's a very brilliant marketer, but he speaks at a very high level. Like, he speaks like 12th graders. I need to comprehend things as if somebody's speaking to me like a 3rd grader. So anyway, I almost glossed over this chart because it was written at a much more much higher intellect than what I comprehend at. But anyway, I reread the chart, and thankfully I did, because the chart explained, essentially it compared cost of acquisition to the types of content that were being promoted. And so what it was saying is, if you promote or if you publish a piece of content that is primarily offer driven, your cost per acquisition is going to be the lowest. If you publish a piece of content that is more brand driven, doesn't have any call to actions on it or very few call to actions, your cost per acquisition is going to be higher, like 8 times higher, he said. And I read that because at the time I was doing, long form webinars. We run the webinar agency. And so, we had a webinar that was converting, but it wasn't scalable. Like, our cost per application was $450 per application. And I just couldn't scale that. And so I'm like, I need something else. Like, I need something else. And when I saw this chart, I realized that my webinar funnel, while they do work, going to the client that I was trying to go after, I was overeducating them. Like, my metrics were telling me that I was overeducating my market. It was costing me way too much to acquire a customer. And so I saw this chart. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I'm publishing too much educational content and I'm not making enough offers. So I literally closed the book at that point, jumped out of bed. It was 11 o'clock at night. My wife was asleep next to me. I ran downstairs, fired open my laptop, and I published what is now known, it's my first version of what is now known to be the power offer. Because in my mind, I'm like, I just need to get this thing out of my head because I know who I want to speak to and I know what I want to offer. Because I was burying my offer downstream in the funnel. And I'm like, let me just make that offer exactly how I think about it in my head right now and just see what happens. And I published that on my social media profile. And by the end of the next day, I had 2 people sign up for a $25,000 service that I offered. And it was crazy. The amount of leads that I had from that one post changed the game for me. I then turned that into an ad. That cut my application costs from $450 per app to $30 per app, and I've never gone hungry for leads ever since. And that's the genesis of the power offer.
All right, so now everyone needs to know what the heck is the power offer, and we'll put some graphics up in the video too to help so people can actually see it. But let me know what is the power offer? What do you actually say?
Yeah, so the power offer is really a one-sentence statement that gets people, it attracts buyers and gets them to say in their mind or out loud, yes, I want that, or no, I don't. Right? Because when we talk about client, customer, or lead acquisition, there's really two different types of acquisition strategies. You could have a marketing qualified lead or a sales qualified lead. And this is extremely critical to understand the difference. And nobody talks about it, at least in our circles. You go to the corporate world and, really enterprise level sales teams, most of those people will know what a sales qualified lead is and what a marketing qualified lead is. But in the world of entrepreneurship, it's not really talked about a whole lot, and it's critical, right? A marketing qualified lead is somebody who's interested in education, meaning like they're willing to associate themselves with a general topic, but they're not yet qualified to have a sales conversation, meaning they're not yet in a state of making a purchasing decision. And so a sales qualified lead, or an SQL, is somebody who has identified themselves as, okay, I'm ready to make a yes or no decision on moving forward with you. And so when I ran downstairs and I created my first power offer, I said, I want to go attract buyer leads because I know there's a segment of my audience who's ready to buy right now if they're presented with a compelling enough offer. So I wanted to create a message that attracts those people who are in like buying heat. And so I crafted this statement and I said, you know what? I'm just going to flat out ask people if they want this, yes or no. So the power offer is very, very simple, right? It's a one-sentence statement, which is, if I offered to get you some form of benefit without ABC obstacle, you can list out as many as you want, like without any number of hurdles that they associate with getting that end result, would you take me up on that offer? Okay, so I'll go through it again. If I offer to get you some sort of benefit without a major obstacle or major hurdle that you believe is in the way of you getting that benefit, would you take me up on that offer? Okay. And so the first example that I wrote when I published this on my social media profile, and mind you, in 2016, I had a very, very small following. Like I was not a guru. I'm still not a mega guru with millions and millions of followers, but like I was just a tiny little peanut back in 2016, right? And so I published this, and it was, and I'll read it to you right now. It was, hey, course creators, coaches, and experts, if I offered to build you a high-converting sales webinar with a super fast turnaround in about 24 hours, without you needing to worry about what to say or how to say it, so you can fill your courses and programs now, would you take me up on that offer? Okay. Reading it now, it sounds so simple. But when we follow digital marketing advice, we tend to overcomplicate things like, okay, what do I do? Do I do a webinar or a challenge? Like you name it. You can, rattle off 100 different ways of what we think is the best way to attract a client. But for me, like if I need revenue, like I want to make my offer as many times as possible, right? And what's great about this is like you can run this to your organic audience. You can run this as an email campaign. You can run this as an ad. You can run this as a magazine ad. Like you can run it anywhere. This works anywhere that you have an audience because it just attracts people who are interested in getting some form of end result, and you get immediate feedback. That feedback loop is instant, and you know whether or not I have a great offer or not. And people who respond, like they're not looking for free stuff, right? They want to know more about what you have to offer. And so anyway, that's what changed the game for me, and what changed the game for thousands of people now who are utilizing it and using it to get their message dialed in. And I'll add, because the next logical question is, oh, what if it doesn't work, right? What if I post this out there and it doesn't work? It's like, great, because if you get no response from this, imagine how much time you've saved from building a marketing funnel, marketing a really, really crappy offer. Like, I almost want to get to the no as fast as possible. Like, I want to get these ideas out there as fast as I possibly can, because if they aren't interested, I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to build anything else. I don't want to put a training together to sell this core offer. Like, this is my core promise. If they don't want my core promise, like I call it the Monopoly rule. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, do not continue. And so it's like the greatest market feedback that you can possibly get is if you get no response from this, like it's the best feedback you can get.
All right. So I want to wrap this up. So you told us what this offer was in 2016 that you put out. I want you to be able to make an offer right now to anyone who's watching. What is your power offer today?
Yeah, it depends on what part of the business, right? So we've got, services, we've got coaching, we've got, courses. So it really depends on the offer. But I'll make you a power offer about the power offers. Like if I offered to give you this exact framework of that can get you 3 to 5 clients every single month without you having to run ads, would you be interested? Right? That's my core promise with, for anyone who sells with sales calls, right? This is a sales qualified ad, meaning like this messaging that you want to use, like it's meant to attract sales qualified individuals. And so, we have a mini workshop that you can go through because, we also have different versions of the power offer. Like this is literally like step 1. And you can take this power offer framework and then we have expanded power offers and other versions of this. But like this is the core, like this is the genesis of like how you create a compelling offer, promise driven offer that gets people to say, yes, I want that, or no, I don't. And it's really the genesis of your business or a new offer than what you're launching. But yeah, they can go to powerofferworkshop.com and grab it. It's $27, I think. I mean, it's like the best $27 that you'll spend when it comes to client acquisition, 100%.
Thank you for that information. Joel, thanks again for coming on the show. And again, everyone watching, get Joel's exact framework, plus an in-depth training on how and why the framework works. This extra piece of understanding is going to make your power offers that much more, powerful. Go check that out at powerofferworkshop.com. If you're not subscribed to this channel yet, go do that now so you can see more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching this video. Again, my name is Kyle Sellerud, and I'll see you in the next video.